We may be getting the GT500 for the S650 Mustang very soon. Hey guys, welcome to Red 50. Thank you for tuning into another video. Today we are going to be talking about the GT500 for the S650 Mustang. Yes, you guys have probably seen the spy shot that have been leaked around. We've seen them all over the place, and we're going to speculate what that means for the S650. If we're going to get the GT500, what kind of power plant we're going to be talking. There's also a rumor of all-wheel drive GT500, which in my opinion is going to be very crazy. We don't know if we're going to get that, but we're going to discuss these spy shots. There's a couple interesting things I want to talk about related to these spy shots, so we're going to dive right into this. So this is what the spy shots look like, and as you can see, it looks like a dark horse, but it has the GT500 wheels, and that's what basically is making everyone think that this is going to be the new GT500 for the S650. Now, you may think that the S650 Mustang generation is still pretty new for a GT500 to be launched. However, that's not the case. I feel like in S197, we saw the GT500 make a comeback in 2007, so like 2 years into the model year. And S550 saw a GT350 in 2016. So it's kind of fitting that we're probably due for some sort of a Shelby variant. It is true that for the S550, we didn't see the GT500 until 2020, which was like 5 to 6 years into the model year. But of course, we had the GT500, so we had some sort of a Shelby variant. And I think this one, because the sales have been so bad, and there's rumors of Charger and Challengers coming back with the V8, which means there's going to be increased competition, Ford needs to get their stuff together. And that is exactly what I think might be happening by getting the GT500. Now, I want to talk about not just the GT500, not just the S650 GT500. I want to talk about the power plant. I want to talk about the pricing as well, because that is something it's going to be a little concerning here. First off, let's talk about the rumors of all-wheel drive GT500. From these spy shots, nothing really pops out here that would kind of indicate its all-wheel drive version. So I don't know where that rumor is coming from. It would be nice, kind of like what, Corvette did. It had this 6.2 liter supercharged V8 for the Z06, and the ZR1 had the similar engine options, and it kind of broke that formula when V8 twin turbo. So that's, I think, what people are kind of coming from, that if we get the Mustang, if we get the S650 Mustang GT500, we might break the traditional formula of a supercharged V8 in Shelby variant, and we might go ahead and get the all-wheel drive GT500. There's been rumors it could make up to 1,000 horsepower, which I don't know if it's going to happen, but if it does, it's going to be so crazy. Like, the S550 Mustang GT500 had supercharged V8 making 760 horsepower, which was already pretty crazy, almost 100 horsepower more than what it used to be in S197. And with the S650, Ford might just take it up a notch and just go completely crazy with the horsepower. Now, of course, what good is horsepower if you can't put it down? I think that's where the all-wheel drive kind of makes more sense, where you kind of go away from the rear-wheel drive traditional layout and introduce the all-wheel drive, and you go, even if not 1,000 horsepower, like maybe if you're 850 horsepower, but you have all-wheel drive, so you can put the power down, you can get the times in at the track, and that is going to be absolutely crazy. Now, my speculation would be that it's probably going to be the GT500 with the some sort of a supercharged V8. But if Ford does go turbo, I'm kind of curious if they're going to downsize the engine, which I think is going to lose a lot of potential buyers, because I think it's safe to say we're headed towards the hybrid and electric Mustang in not too distant future, unfortunately. And kind of like what they did with the Ford GT, where the EcoBoost platform was all the rage. So instead of getting a supercharged V8, they wanted to demonstrate their EcoBoost technology. So Ford took Ford GT, made it a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 to kind of show that you don't need the big V8. You can do a lot of that work from a twin turbo V6, and I think that's where we might be headed, where we might not get a supercharged V8, but we might get some sort of a showcase of a turbo V6, which would put out more horsepower than the GT500 that we've seen in S550, and it will be faster. And if it doesn't be hybrid, it could very easily be all-wheel drive too. So that would be going away from the traditional formula of the GT500, but it's going to introduce so many new elements, so many new exciting options, that it's going to be a true halo car. And that's where Ford is headed with the Mustang. You got the GTD up top, and of course you have a dark horse that is like very track oriented. Now let's talk about everyone's favorite topic with the S650 Mustang in general and the GT500 as well, pricing. Pricing is it has been an issue with the S650 Mustang. There's no denying that. The Mustangs have gotten so much more expensive, and it doesn't offer that much more for the money where you can kind of justify spending a lot more money here. I have the S650 Mustang, and I want to upgrade to a 650 Mustang GT, but for the price increase, it's just like the numbers just don't make sense. And right now, even the dark horse are going for like $65,000-$70,000. So imagine that you have a dark horse already sitting at like $70,000. If you fully spec it out, I think they top out at $75,000 or so with the carbon fiber and all of that good stuff. So GT500 back in 2020 was MSRP'd at $70,000. So imagine a 760 horsepower supercharged V8 is pretty much going, or was pretty much going, for the same price as what the dark horse really now goes for. And I think that's where we get into some trouble with the GT500, because if we get even a supercharged V8, maybe just revamping what we previously had for the S650 Mustang, the issue is going to be the price. If dark horse is already topping out like $75,000, I want to say GT500 bare minimum would start around 75. No, it would probably be like $80,000-$85,000 at least. And I remember, because I had just gotten my 2019 Mustang GT when the GT500s were starting to come out on the lot for the S650. And even though the base MSRP was $70,000, you could not find one below $100,000. Even the base, there were so much markup. All the dealers were getting so greedy, and they were basically trying to get as much money from you as possible. And you pretty much had to pay if you want to have some fun. And I know people that actually paid $100K or so for a base GT500, or maybe just a couple options. So I think a similar case is going to happen here, where you get a GT500 for around $85,000 base MSRP. For a couple of years, you're just not going to be able to get them at MSRP. You're going to end up paying $15,000-$20,000 in markup, unfortunately. And that begs the question, if it's $100K for GT500, I love my Mustangs, but I don't know if it's going to sell. Unless you're a true Mustang enthusiast and you've just got money to blow, which I don't think most people are going to buy the GT500, because at $100K, now the Z06, the Sea Z06, which is an amazing supercar, if you can call it that, or a sports car at least, the markups have started to cool down on them, so you can actually pick them up for MSRP around $115,000 or so. So imagine having a GT500 for about pretty much the same price. That is not going to sit well a lot of people. As much I want to say I would pick the GT500, I feel like the Z06 is going to be a lot more special, and it's probably going to be faster at the track than a GT500 could ever be. Now, of course, they've introduced like something very unique in terms of like a twin turbo V8 or turbo V6 with a hybrid powertrain. That would be unique enough where people, even if they have S650 GT500, they will be inclined to upgrade. But if they pretty much repackage the existing GT500, I feel like it's just going to sit on the lot. So I'm excited to see what Ford is going to do with the new GT500 or these new spy shots. Comment below, what are your thoughts? What these spy shots are? Is it going to be the GT500? Is it going to be something completely different? And of course, subscribe to Red 50 for more videos.